Kyrie Jesu Domine, dona eis requiem.
Good morning. It's been a while, 3 weeks I think. Pentecost was 3 weeks ago, and that's the last time I made a video. I just got out of the habit of it, and have plenty of things to say, plenty of random thoughts to share, but habits are easy to make and sadly easy to break. So today's our parish feast day. For the rest of the church, unless they're also an Immaculate Heart of Mary, they're celebrating the 13th Sunday in Ordinary Time and getting back into the swing of things. We are celebrating our parish feast day of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Technically, it was yesterday. It is a Saturday after the Sacred Heart of Jesus. But even in the Universal Church, it probably got suppressed because of the solemnity of Peter and Paul, celebrating those two apostles, which we celebrated yesterday morning in Mass, put on our red, celebrate those two great apostles and martyrs. But we transferred the feast day to the weekend. So we celebrated last night and this morning. And as we celebrate the Immaculate Heart of Mary, really what we're celebrating, I think when we think of hearts, we're celebrating really what is the center of the person, kind of what's at the core of an individual. Like the Sacred Heart of Jesus, we see at the core of our Lord's heart many things, much of which we need most of, is mercy. That our Lord has a most merciful heart, a heart that desires humanity to be reconciled with God. Not cheap reconciliation, hard reconciliation, that you and I have to be converted. That while our Lord loved us when we were quite unlovable and actually detestable, His love is meant to draw us away from sin and to draw us into grace. So there's a combination there, of renouncing who we were and desiring who we want to be. But greater than all of those two things, getting away from the sin that poisons us and wanting to be a new person, is actually to know God. To know a person that shared life with us with no particular gain in mind other than the joy of sharing life, and to whatever degree we can say that God hopes we seek communion with Him. So then we have the Immaculate Heart. And if I think of the Sacred Heart of Jesus really as the font of mercy, the Immaculate Heart of the Blessed Virgin Mary is the heart of devotion to that mercy, of attraction to that mercy, of gratitude to that mercy. Even though we as Catholics celebrate the fact that Mary is without sin, she is profoundly aware of the effects of sin. She felt the weight of temptation just like you and I did, and perhaps felt it even more difficult because she was free from sin. Because once you and I cave into sin, doing it again isn't so difficult, which is why the Lord warns us. You know, that was God's warning to Cain: don't kill your brother. You can master sin, because once you cross that threshold, crossing other thresholds will be easier. And the Lord is warning us, because again, habits are easy to make and even easier to break, especially good habits. So the heart of Mary is one that's focused on her Son and listening to Him and pondering Him and following Him and leading others to Him. You know, that's what we see in Mary's heart. So today we celebrate, it's a really simple homily. This podcast is probably longer than the homily, but really to focus on our own hearts, because we get bogged down when we heart something. That means I care about it. I have affections for it. I have feelings towards it. And feelings I always get upset with how crooked these look on my head. It's just my head crooked. I stopped looking at the camera, looked at the screen. Anyway, you know, we focus too much on feelings, and it really doesn't make us happier. We want to acknowledge feelings. We don't want to ignore them. They're the good barometer of my inner weather, so to speak. But it's just the weather. It's not the whole of the world. Weather just has one type of effect on us. There are many other things to interact with in life other than the weather. So Mary's heart and the traditional Judeo-Christian heart is at the core of your person, who you want to be, what you manifest to the world, what you bring to to the proverbial table. That's one of your core realities of the mystery of your person. For our Lord, it is this immeasurable, immense mercy. With the Blessed Mother, it is this profound devotion. With you and I, we hope to be inspired by both of them, to seek the mercy, to imitate the devotion, and to be transformed.